Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to do Chinese broccoli soup with chicken. Alright, so you'll need broccoli or Kai Lan. I need a few pieces of chicken. I'm using dark pepper, but if you want to use light pepper, it's okay. You need half an onion, a bit of ginger, and around about 4 to 5 pips of garlic. Now, I'm using an egg, okay, instead of using corn flour. Alright, some people they prefer to make it thick, they use corn flour. I prefer to use egg instead. Okay, so first off, what we do is we'll cut up the vegetables. I'll show you how. Alright, so we'll slice our onion. I'm using like half a large onion. Okay, so we slice it first. This aside. And I'm using around 5 pips of garlic. So for the garlic, I'm just going to cut it in half. If you want to cut it smaller, you can. Just cutting it in half. Okay. Alright. Okay. Now ginger, I've already sliced it like this. And then I'm going to slice it smaller. Alright. Okay, and I'm going to slice it a bit smaller, this way. Roughly, well, I would say roughly mince it up. Alright, roughly mince it up. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then now we'll start with our Kai Lan or Chinese broccoli. Okay, but before that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to brown the garlic and the onions and all that. So I'm using this a bit of sesame seed oil, just a bit. Okay, and I'm going to add in the onions and the ginger and the garlic. Alright, I'm going to brown that. Okay. It's very fast. Okay, just a bit. I don't want it too oily. Okay, then I'm going to add in the chicken. Alright, adding the chicken. Okay, and I'm going to add in some water. Alright, add in a bit of water, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it and let it boil a bit, and whilst I do the Chinese broccoli, the Kai Lan, I do that and then I'll come back to this. Okay. Alright, so whilst the chicken is boiling over there, we'll do the Chinese broccoli. Alright, so I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so we cut off where the stem is. Okay. Alright. Okay, so you have this and you have this. Okay, so I'm cutting it around about this. Alright. Okay. Alright, the stem I'm cutting off like this. Okay, just putting it aside. Okay, so these are the leafy parts. So the leafy parts you can cut a bit bigger. Alright, leafy parts cut a bit bigger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate like the hard part, the stems I'm putting at the side, and then the leaves I'm putting at the side. So we cook, when we put it to boil, we don't put it together, we put the stems first. Alright, so now this part of the stem we can also use actually. Alright, now if it's not the lower part though. Alright, so we just try to, we want the inside of it, which is a little bit softer. Okay. Alright. Okay. And then the softer part of the stem, we cut this way. Okay. Alright. Can you see? Okay, we cut it this way. So the stems will cook aside. Alright, same thing here. I'll show you again. Okay, first cut off the stems with the leaves. Okay. And cut off the stems from the leaves. Alright. And then the leaves itself, if it's this small, then I'm just going to leave it whole. Okay. Same thing here. The bottoms of the stem I'm not going to use. You know. So I'm just going to cut off the hard outer part as much as I can. Okay. Alright. And then I'm going to cut it lengthwise so that it can cook easily. Okay. Alright. So this part we don't want. Alright. Here. The hard part, the stem, we put it aside. This one we can cook whole, soft. The leaf, if it's this big, you can either cut it or leave it. So I'm going to leave it. Okay, so stem, cut it. Alright. Okay. Right. Okay. So it's the leafy part. Cut it a little bit big. It doesn't matter. Alright. Cut it this big. Okay. Same thing here. The stem. Cut it and put it aside because we'll be cooking that first. If the leaf is this big, I'm leaving as is. Alright. But if you think it's too big for you, you can cut it. Okay. So cut it in here. And same thing, this part of it I'm not going to use. I'm going to cut the outer part because the outer part is a little bit hard. So we just want to use the inner side of it. Okay. Okay, so all this I'm not using. Okay, so this part, cut it lengthwise. Okay. Alright. It's not difficult. I hope you try out my recipes. Yeah. Nothing like experimenting, right? You put this aside. Okay, the chicken is bubbling really nicely. So once it starts to bubble like this, you take off the cover. Alright, take off the cover and then you let it bubble. Okay. I'm using around about 4 pieces of chicken. Okay, you can too. If you want to remove the skin, it's up to you. Just like a little bit of skin, and because I'm using less oil and all that. Okay, so we're going to leave it be for a bit. The water is just enough, and we'll go back to cutting our Kai Lan or our Chinese broccoli. Okay. Alright, so we continue cutting our Chinese broccoli or Kai Lan. Cut off the side stems first. Okay. Okay, this is a bit too big, so we'll cut it in half. This one. Okay. Same thing, cut off the outer layer as much as you can because it's hard. Alright. Okay. And we're not using the outer layer, we use the inside of the stem, which is much softer and more delicate. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you have not already done so. Okay. Alright, so same thing here. Cut off the lower stem, you cut off and you take it aside. This one is the outer stem, which is hard, you know, so if you cook it, it's hard, so you don't cook that. Okay, put it aside, and the same thing, cut it twice. Okay. Alright, so when the chicken is almost cooked, you add in the stems, the hard stems first. Alright, don't add in the leafy stems, add in the hard stems first. Right. Okay, and you can add in your dash of pepper. Okay, and then you leave it to boil for a bit. We'll come back to this, and I think after this I'll be putting in the salt and also the egg, and as usual, the egg, please break the egg in another container first before pouring it in. Okay, it's bubbling very nicely. Okay, so I'm going to add in the egg. Okay, as I said, make sure you break the egg in a different container first before pouring it in, because otherwise if you break it in, sometimes maybe the egg might not be a good egg, or it might be the shell might break and fall in, you know, so doing this is much easier. So I'm going to break the egg yolk and make it mix together with the soup. Some people, they don't want to put in the egg, they want to use the corn flour mixed with water, or cornstarch. You can also do that. I prefer to use the egg instead. Okay. Alright, so now you can add in the rest of your vegetables, the leafy vegetables. Okay, push it in. If you don't want to use pepper and then you want to use what do you call it, chili, you can. Alright. I'm putting salt. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it, and then I'll come back to it in a bit. So okay, let's check on our soup. Oh, it's lovely. Lovely fragrance too. Okay everybody, this is my version of Kai Lan chicken soup, or Chinese broccoli chicken soup. Alright, I hope you can try this out. It's one of my favorite, especially if I'm not feeling too well. Okay, so everybody have a good day. Do try out my recipes. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much everybody. Have a good day. Bye bye.